All right, we are back here at Guardian Games. We're Portland Paper. I'm Travis Cooper, hanging out with,
Bradley Brown.
and we're watching round number four, our final round of Modern Mondays. And we got a kind of a fun matchup. I think it's going to be fairly interactive, but also it might be quick. I don't think it's going to be much of a grind fest. We have
Andre is playing Izzet Breach 3-0, and we've got our resident SCG champ, Vinny, coming back with, I'll admit it, I'm rooting for it, Gruul Karnza.
you can't not root for the Karn.
I can't.
All right. So I think this is a breach deck is like super interesting to me because like it has the like Ragavan, Darcy, Urza's Saga thing going on. That's just good. Like you could just play those cards and win the game in expressive iteration, but then it has like a combo finish with everyone's favorite Merfolk, Grinding Station, and Mox Amber.
This is a deck that reminds me a lot of a friend who we have not seen in a while. Urchin Collie, if you are out there watching Magic, this is the deck for you. I hope you're getting the opportunity to enjoy it in one form or another.
Yeah, I actually had a board game night with Urchin this past weekend.
Glad to hear it.
And they're doing really well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So happy to see again. Hard to contain my excitement, but happy to see that Vinny is 3-0 with this Karn land destruction deck.
There's a chance.
There's a chance. There's a chance.
You can play land destruction and be 3-0.
Yeah. Wondering how impactful Karn is against the grinding station deck. Just to cut off one axis of this combo. Obviously, lots of avenues for Andre to remove a Karn, but.
Yeah, and as much as I love hanging out with you, Bradley, at some point we're gonna get Urchin back in here too. So
that would be good.
And then maybe we can commentate on your land destruction deck.
And root for me as hard as I'm rooting for Vinny right now. Hopefully.
Watch it burn down in round number one.
Yeah, exactly. Andre nabbing a Shadow Spear off of Vinny's deck.
Seems decent.
Yeah.
I mean, that card is in Andre's deck. So, yeah, it's a playable card, but yeah, maybe not the best hit.
Is Shadow Spear legendary?
It is.
Interesting.
But Andre doesn't mind things going to the graveyard.
No, I'm not relevant necessarily, just interesting. I know Andre has played, they've been playing Magic for quite some time, as I understand it, here at Guardian and also at a couple other stores in town. But they have played Blue Moon. They were on the Kiki Jiki Brineborn Cutthroat list for a while,
okay.
Which I was a big fan of. So big fan of Izzet strategies in this format, it would seem.
I mean, as different as this is from like Twin, I feel like we were talking about this earlier that Izzet Breach is more similar to Splinter Twin than like Kiki Blue Moon is, just because you have this like decent mid-range deck with like Urza Sagas, Darcy's, Ragavans, iterations, like just generically good and powerful cards, and you have this like with Underworld Breach you can just like combo off. Yeah, so it seems similar in kind of play style, but combos a little bit differently. But yeah.
Yeah, I know that Blue Moon sometimes plays the like Platinum Empyrean Madcap package, which is sort of a similar like put a really, really problematic permanent on the battlefield, but obviously Path to Exile beating Platinum Empyrean is a little bit different than having this graveyard focused combo win for Breach. It's too bad that Ian's not here to commentate on this 3-0 Underworld Breach list.
I'm sure Ian is going to be watching this and critiquing my commentary. Also, I just think the idea of a problematic permanent is pretty funny.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Vinny playing mono red currently in playstyle, if not in colors that his mana base can produce. and Andre with quite a few cards in the graveyard.
I think this is really interesting. Like we have two decks that are doing like very, very different, like mid to top end things. But both of these decks are revolving around a core of Darcy, Ragavan, Urza Saga, plus a somewhat similar like Saga package of, we're going to have the Shadow Spear, we're going to have like Pithing Needle and Maynard Side, but Vinny has like other things that they're doing like beyond that are drastically different than what Andre is doing.
And that was very insightful, but all I can think about is that Vinny just cast a green and 2 colorless Stone Rain against his opponent, which is very exciting for me.
Okay, narrate how that happened.
The Outland Liberator played the bear and then sacked it immediately to destroy Andre's Urza Saga.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's like the color shifted, like Rain of Tears. It's like Stone Rain, Rain of Tears.
Yes.
Outland Liberator, same card.
Yes.
Just color shifted.
Essentially, yes. The 3-for. I'm embarrassed to admit I'm not familiar with Rain of Tears.
Rain of Tears, 1 black, Stone Rains.
Gotcha.
It has really cool art.
Hmm.
I used to play it in blue-black control because you have surgicals and snapcasters. And
Gotcha.
That deck was a dog against Tron, but...
Gotcha. All right.
Play to drum, play to Ragavan, use a Ragavan to tap the drum, bolt the Chandler. Andre is going to have more artifacts than Vinny with the Saga battle. Vinny's going to get to pop the Saga first, but can't find the Shadow Spear because Andre has like casted that one already.
Right. Andre with 1 card in hand. It's a battle of the monkeys.
Heat's pretty good.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Double Saga.
Welcome to Modern, like circa 2022. Iteration, pretty great.
Looks like Vinny has Forest, Unholy Heat, and Ragavan in hand. My Kingdom for a Blood Moon.
Yeah, so Shadow Spear, chat. I don't know, Beetle, if you're talking about Shadow Spear, but it is a legendary artifact. But maybe you're talking about
Urza's
Saga.
Saga.
Oh, Urza's Saga. Yeah, no, Urza's Saga should be legendary.
Yeah, it really should. It really should.
But it's not, which is just I think a flavor fail because Urza is not going on multiple sagas at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, there's a couple. The lands thing, like Valakuts, should I think also be legendary.
Agreed.
Can there be more than one the Molten Pinnacle?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Is there? Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting. We've come across another list where Vinny gets a little bit of an edge for having incidental artifact hate, like sort of being tilted against artifacts in his main deck. Similar to that matchup earlier against Greg on blue-white.
I mean, Karn's pretty good if you can like resolve that. Just shutting off. You shut off the combo kill with the grinding station there. Kind of like breach with multiple Darcys can hobble together that, but it takes a lot. And then just Andre relying on artifacts for some value helps Vinny.
I really like, I've been impressed rather with Soul Guide Lantern. I played a lot of Theros Beyond Death Limited, and thought that card was fine in that format, but it's been pretty ubiquitous in this format as well.
I feel it's interesting the choices that you make for your 0 to 1 mana, like Saga Fetch or sideboard card slot for Graveyard Hate. Soul Guide's really good against like cards like Kroxa, or things where you want like one specific card out and then use it to draw a card, where you're not super concerned about your opponent having their whole graveyard, or maybe you just want the one card out, then nuke their yard later. It has some options and utility, but yeah, like you have that, you have Relic, you have Tormod Script. I don't know. I feel like there's arguments for all of those, and that's interesting choices when deck building.
Yeah, Soul Guide also important for decks that want to utilize their own graveyard over something like Relic of Progenitus, since it's a one-sided graveyard hate. And free, so you don't have to hold up a mana as you do for Relic. And Emery,
I mean,
get back your bobble. I don't know if
yeah,
there's a bobble in the yard.
I feel like you cast it.
Yeah, just put permanents in the graveyard, or put cards in the graveyard, make your Goyf a little bit bigger, potentially.
Oh, we did not.
Ah.
I'm in for casting that, right? Because you can just do it off one treasure.
Yeah.
I guess the worry.
No, doesn't he only have the Soul Guide land? Oh no, because he has the treasures, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
I think the worry is if you milled maybe what your Saga target was going to be, but then you could get it back, but could be removed. I don't know. That was an interesting choice there.
We know he has a Pithing Needle off of Saga. I think that's the last remaining target he has in the main deck.
Baubles.
Baubles, of course. Right. We'll say non-bobble targets for versus Saga then.
I mean, it does feel like sort of bad if your Saga hasn't made any constructs and all it does is go get a bobble.
Yeah.
Where you Stone Rain yourself to draw a card, but
well,
yeah.
he is the Stone Rain deck. Cool. Whoever made that last point in chat, I can't read your name because it's white, but that's interesting, and I didn't know that, so thank you for teaching me something this evening.
I was sort of assuming that we were on the page that Vinny would sack one treasure and cast the Emery, but
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But he has another artifact, so like if you only have 2 treasures, casting it then, that's interesting.
You have to have the blue though, because you gotta pay the colored cost on Emery.
Right, but with a treasure.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right.
Vinny making a friend. A 4/4 friend will be a 5/5 when he gets Pithing Needle or Mishra's Bauble.
Yes. Yeah, Attack Cowboy, that is like very hard to explain magic that happens. But that's, yeah, how you pay those costs is definitely like sort of big brain meme thing going on. But yeah, KCI does that to you. You got to understand a lot of layering things and timing things.
So Vinny proving me wrong by getting an expedition map from his library.
So you can go get another saga.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
Keep the story going.
Yes, I don't want it to end.
All right, we got a big Littergoyf. Is that the
I would just say Lurgoyf.
Lurgoyf? I feel like I'm from Kentucky, and people, there's a Louisville meme where everyone's like, Louisville, 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 Louisville. I feel like, which is how you're supposed to say it, Louisville. You just sort of like spew like some vowels out, and I feel like Littergoyf is like Littergoyf.
Lurgoyf, yeah. They slur their own name. Andre seems to be squarely on the non-combo plan this game, although
it's pretty hard to combo out with Soul Guide there.
True.
I mean, it's possible, but you have to have multiple pieces to be okay with some parts getting exiled. I don't know. It's interesting, but it puts up a significant roadblock. Those are the speed bumps that are like really sharp on the edges that you can't kind of cheat over at 20.
The narrow ones, yeah. Also, interesting choice of tokens. I don't recognize Andre's, but Vinny playing Master Chief.
Andre's token is like, that's some A game. I appreciate it.
That's good stuff. I'm the scum buying the cheapest relevant Pokemon cards to represent my tokens.
I did that during Energy Standard. I got some cool foil energies.
Nice.
Pokemon.
Very good. I like those for storm counters as well, keeping track of your mana.
Interesting interactions here with the Aether Spellbomb and possible attacks are not.
Spellbomb draws a card or bounces a creature specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not both.
Right. Yeah, popping the token seems interesting. Andre's construct is currently a 1/2 3 4 4 no 5/5 with lifelink. Nope, it's actually dead. Never mind. Sorry.
Math dead.
Yeah. I believe Andre is hellbent. Feels like we're going to game 2.
I think we're, doing some deep thoughts about what potential outs could be for drawing card off Spellbomb. So I don't know. It's like, Andre's been playing very quickly, and so I feel like that was a turn where they probably realized, like, the match depends on this, and every, like, kind of small decision you make is going to affect the outcome, and you're, like, tiny chances of maybe, like, getting out of this. So I think they're just making sure that they didn't have outs for like drawing a card off Spellbomb, and then what could that be, and then turn into it. So I feel like Vinny did a great job of shutting off those outs with the Soul Guide Lantern and Plesium removal spell. But I don't think it was slow play. There is a lot of examples at like regular REL events at local game stores. People kind of slow playing, not in intentional ways, but I think both players are pretty efficient.
It's also 10:15 on a Monday night, and sometimes your brain just moves a little bit slower.
Oh yeah, we need to make sure that Andre gave Vinny back
He
his
did.
chest.
I saw
it? Okay,
they,
good.
they were laughing about it, considering they're both playing white sleeves. Yeah, it would have been an easy thing to do. I have to say this Karnza list is playing a lot differently than I thought it would. It's clearly much less all in on the land destruction plan and doing just more sort of generic Urza Saga good stuff. We haven't seen I suppose we have seen a Ren and 6 in one of the earlier games, but I think it just pinged an Esper Sentinel and didn't do much else. So that sort of engine of Ren and 6 Forgotten Cave, Ren and 6 Boseiju, Life from the Loam, and those same lands. Haven't seen too much of that angle of the deck from Vinny. How if the breach plan is to okay, here's an embarrassing question. Underworld breach grinding station. Are you milling your opponent or are you milling yourself in this setup? Or do you mill yourself until you can mill out your opponent?
So basically the combo is you grind your Mox Amber for 3, and then you tap your Mox Amber. You tap a mana, grind it, and then you generate a lot of mana and are going through your deck. You need a certain amount of cards in your graveyard because you need to bring an Emery back, and then you're going to need to play a Springleaf Drum that is going to enable blue. But like once you get Emery back, then Mox Amber is going to tap for blue, and then you're going to be able to cast everyone's favorite Merfolk for the win. So
Gotcha.
Basically, Amber just makes you be able to like turbo through your deck and then get the couple pieces that you need for the combo win.
Gotcha. Okay. I was thinking of potentially the original Underworld Breach deck grinding station. I believe the plan was to mill out your opponent. This was some time ago when that card was first printed again in Theros Beyond Death. So I was thinking sort of what does Veil of Summer do, and does that have any utility here, giving yourself hexproof, etc.
No, yeah, I mean, so there's versions of the deck. There's a version that plays green as well. That is on a little bit more of a value plan, and you're also playing Grape Shot. I don't think Andre's deck is playing Grape Shot, but there's also the Grape Shot option exists.
Gotcha.
And to be honest, I don't quite understand why people are on Emery and not Grape Shot. I don't play enough of the combo decks. Most of my combo decks are involve like Grizzlebrand that I've played historically.
Right.
And so I don't quite understand why they're on that. Maybe it's the math with when you get a certain amount into the game, like how many times you can play Mox Amber and how much damage I can do with the Grape Shot doesn't work out. Not quite sure.
It is interesting that you can make both red and blue off of Mox Amber with Ragavan in the deck as well.
Well, no, you can only make the color of the legendary permanent. So that's why Springleaf Drum is like critical. And usually the decks only play one Springleaf Drum. So depending on how people have played their mana, like having a Pithing Needle and Springleaf Drum usually isn't going to be good enough, but sometimes can shut them off of the blue to be able to cast Emery from the graveyard.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
All right, we're off. Vinny has a Karn and just drew a Boseiju as his card for turn. This feels like a Ragavan coming into play, I would think. No, map. Chat pointing out that you cannot needle mana abilities.
Oh, that's right. See, that's why I'm bad.
But you can Sorcerer Spyglass mana abilities? I think that's the case.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, don't listen to me, Chad, when talking about how. Yeah, Springleaf Drum is an important part. It can be a key piece. So
that is objectively
so
true.
I mean, instead of needling it, just exile it with your own Ragavan.
Right.
That's the way to go.
Or play a Karn. Kylith. I do like that play of playing poorly and hoping that your opponent doesn't recognize what you're doing. The old Chalice check. Yes, this is the last round of the night. Saga, 2 iterations. I think that's an Underworld Breach. Just hit the yard for Emery.
So we made Vinny's Tarmogoyf pretty big.
Yeah. Thank you, chat. Ignore both of us then. Spyglass and Pithing Needle.
Yeah, man, it's late.
It's
We
late.
both worked. We have real career jobs, and worked all day and are just hanging out with you all for fun because that's what we do on Mondays.
That's right.
Speaking of that, if you like us, go ahead and follow us here. You can find us on the YouTubes. Just look up Portland Paper. We post edited videos of the matches. You can search by deck name there, and throw us some Jeff Bezos money if you've got it, because that helps us buy the cables and the microphones. And we're working on getting a additional camera set up so we can look at the players and you can look at us and see how old we really are.
Yeah. I can watch the tears fall from my face as I play on stream. Yeah, that mill off Emery is not ideal. Those are cards that you really want to be casting or playing. I think we had just over 30 players tonight, maybe, which is pretty par for the course for a Monday. Maybe a little slim.
Yeah, medium low. We've
Yeah.
usually been hitting around 40-ish, anywhere between 38 and 46, something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's been up to pre-pandemic. We would have 90 players on a Monday night, which was kind of insane. It's basically like a PPTQ.
We'll get there again. Numbers are looking good.
Yeah.
It's like a Tormod's Crypt out of their own graveyard for Andre.
That's so strange because that's a card that I think Vinny might have wanted to get at some point in the game. Like how these decks are working against each other, sort of doing the same strategy, is very interesting.
Yeah.
The bar is currently opened at Guardian. And they just lifted their mask. A lot of people are still masked, but they lifted their mask mandate for employees and visitors at the store.
Vinny, sitting on one of the potential speed bumps in the deck, has a second Boseiju in hand. Has to map for his third land.
Is there any other artifact hanging out in Andre's graveyard? Or
I don't think so. That's a Saga land, 2 iterations, a Breach, and then a fetch land maybe on the far left.
Do you think Breach is playing any Blood Moon type effects?
I don't think so, considering you've got Urza Saga in your deck. I know there are some decks that play Saga and Blood Moon, but they're like the ones that I come across are like M. Hayashi mono red decks that play 4 Blast Zone in the side, so you can port out your Sagas when you're playing Blood Moon.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I don't know that they work terribly well together.
I'm just curious with the Forest grab.
Gotcha. Beetleborn, thank you for the subscription.
Making sure the score is correct.
Gotcha. Chat saying maybe Alpine Moon in the sideboard.
I think it's interesting, like the number of effects that can name or interact with lands these days. Where Alpine Moon, if you're just gonna hedge against Tron, it's just like way more efficient than a card like Blood Moon, and they both can get blown up by enchantment hate. So
right.
Interesting. Okay, Andre grabbed Needle and names Boseiju. A pretty easy, the obvious play would be to get a Bobble, just because you can then immediately recast it to draw 2 with Emery. Does look like Vinny has Boseiju in hand.
He does. He's got that second one. I have not seen Cabal Coffers at this shop, although there is a player here who is fairly active in the community of a streamer who has been playing that recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if he puts it together and gives it a whirl.
That looks like a really fun deck to play. I would enjoy playing it. Yeah. I'm not going to buy all the cards to play it, though.
Right.
The time to buy Cabal Coffers was like 4 months ago.
Yeah. Hard cast Gristlebrand.
I want to see Grave Titan back again.
Mm. See, Vinny has a Karn in hand still from his opening 7. I feel like I would have thrown that down by now. Maybe hasn't quite had the opportunity. Had to pop the map last turn. So there's that Boseiju again, wanting to keep it in hand instead of playing it as a land.
At some point soon, Andre's Construct is just going to be able to one-shot that Karn. So the window before removing the Construct of opportunity to get to play Karn is
true
diminishing. And we do have the Grinding Station now.
But even Karn to get like Tormod's Crypt from the sideboard just to play a 4-mana Tormod's Crypt essentially. Oh, this is.
So... I think it's in response to the Grinding Station.
Okay, all right. I had to use the treasure to do that, which is not ideal. It looks like an Elvish Reclaimer as Vinny's draw for turn. There's Basay 2. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh, every Monday.
Here he is.
There's a lot of versions of Karn.
Yeah. This looks like standard regular Karn, just in a different language. This has got to be a Russian Karn,
I
right?
assume so. Yeah,
Okay.
Vinny's known for playing lots of Russian cards.
Takes up on the Tormod's Crypt. Nice. I probably would have. You can't, right? Because Karn is in play. Never mind.
We're getting a judge call. So, yeah, the grinding station happened in response to Karn targeting Tormod's Crypt, which, if Karn was able to target Tormod's Crypt, that means it's in play, and your opponents can't use activated abilities or artifacts, like Stony Silence on a Planeswalker. So we got a judge going on right now. It's attending to the table. My guess is they're going to take the 3 cards, and since there isn't anything scryed or known information on the top or bottom, those are going to get shuffled back in. That is what I would do.
Because the grinding station shouldn't have been able to do. So we're currently in the draw step of the next turn. Yeah, we're in the draw step of the next turn, and I was like, whoa, hold on. Yeah.
Chat, you're mentioning the Japanese planeswalkers from War of the Spark. Recently I purchased a couple Ugin the Ineffable because I'm putting together Eldrazi again. Sorry, everyone. And the Japanese ones, like the alternate art Japanese ones, were like $3 cheaper than the regular ones, so I picked those up. Looks like this is getting resolved, as Travis suggested, by picking up those 3 cards and shuffling them back into the library. I agree. I think Eldrazi is fine. It gets a lot of hate, but I love casting Chalice of the Void and playing 5/5s with haste and trample for 3 or 4 lands is pretty sick. But we are watching Gruul Karnza play Izzet Breach currently, not discussing Eldrazi as much as I would like to.
Okay, so draw step, draw card.
All right, mistakes were made, mistakes were fixed, and here we are.
Karn getting 6th. Goodbye, Karn. Pretty important card in the matchup. Keeping that Karn alive as long as possible.
It's a pretty important card in the matchup. Is that what you
Okay, now it's not just me. Not just me that they're mad at.
Oh, okay. We targeted Crypt off Emery, and Vinny is pitching a Reclaimer to evoke an Endurance.
Yes, as Travis was mentioning earlier, really good community here at Guardian. Vinny obviously has been playing a long time. Andre is a good player too. It's nice when you see these people week after week after week. Really encourages some good gamesmanship and don't be a jerk if you're going to be here playing with the same people all the time.
I always find it's like kind of amazing how many people make small rules mistakes, and then when you're on camera, those are just like amplified by like chat and commentators and stuff, and which is great. Like it's good to be able to point those things out, get judges called, fix things. But I realized that I watched the Hunter Burden Memorial a couple weeks ago, and there was just like every time someone was on camera, there was some mistakes that were made that like the players didn't even realize, and Yeah, that Magic has so many rules, and they're very nuanced, and it's like easy, especially when you've had a full workday, played a long time to make some small mistakes.
Yeah, it's always interesting. There are obviously mistakes that you recognize that you have made and that are you either correct or say, nope, we've gone too far. But it is fun to think about mistakes that you've made that neither you nor your opponent are aware of that have just been lost to time. Nobody plays the game perfectly.
Kind of interested in equipping something, getting in. Emery can't attack if you've got a Shadow Spear on it.
Saying go. So board state currently Grinding Station, Emery, Darcy, Shadow Spear, Pithing Needle, naming Boseiju, Vinny landing a Tarmogoyf, and that definitely is a Russian Dragon's Rage channeler.
I mean, yeah, I feel there's some. You maybe question your choices of like choosing language cards recently with current events, but Vinny's had Russian cards for years and years and years.
It's true.
They don't print Magic cards in Ukrainian.
No.
So, yeah. But it's interesting talking to Vinny. He has some connections over there, and it's like it's been impossible to get Magic cards like in Russia, like booster releases and stuff for like 6 or 8 months. So. What are you doing right now if you're in Andre's?
I'm not sure. It really depends on what's going on in their hand. I think, Vinny's sitting on an inordinately large Tarmogoyf with artifact, creature, planeswalker, land, instant in the graveyard. Obviously, his Darcy is delirious. He's clearly got the battlefield or the red zone fairly well locked up. I think I think that grinding the Pithing Needle is a pretty heads-up play here just because, Vinny has already played 2 Boseijus this game. I think he's only playing 3. That's not another great mill off of Grinding Station.
You can cast
replay Pithing Needle. Yeah, that's a good point. And then name here.
Get one deeper, get on tap Grinding Station, rinse and repeat.
Not sure what your name is for Needle here. Maybe the Crypt. Probably Karn, I suppose. Although you've already seen 2 Karns as well.
Crypt would be pretty strong if you have another artifact in hand. There's a heat. So currently we have land, enchantment, creature, instant. So Andre does have Delirium. And we've got land, enchantment, creature, instant, artifact. So we've got a 5/6 Goyf, is that right?
I think that Planeswalker.
Yeah.
Planeswalker, land, creature, instant, artifact, enchantment. 6/7 Tarmogoyf.
I think we missed the untap trigger on the Grinding Station too.
Off of playing the Pithing Needle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is just a miss trigger there.
Back to Vinny here.
I don't know if that's super relevant.
Yeah. Vinny draws a Ragavan and drew a Tarmogoyf for turn. Get a trade with the monkey. No, eats the monkey.
So Vinny just attacking with the Ragavan there to sort of push through some Goyf damage.
Mm-hmm. And Goyf number 2. Ooh. Really wanted to say Tour McGoyf there, but I think
Oh.
the time has passed for that.
Well,
We've got a couple jumps here. Well, I suppose the Darcy has to attack.
another heat in hand doesn't do anything to these 6/7s.
No.
There's the option of grinding station. You can grinding station your pithing needle in hopes to hit your own Tormod's crypt.
Right.
But we're going for Shadow Spear.
Yeah, gain 4 life. Keeps you alive another turn, even if you don't block with the Emery. Looks like an Unholy Heat, and don't recognize that second card in Andre's hand. Notably, Andre's Pithing Needle currently is on Tormod's Crypt, so they cannot activate their own.
But if you grind your own Pithing Needle,
then
it
it's
goes
gone.
to
Yeah, you're
graveyard.
right.
Then you incentivize Vinny to activate Crypt.
Right.
Then there's...
Okay.
it can get weird.
That is weird. All right, a chump.
Now we're gonna get a heat this Goy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. We're casting an Endurance, the heat on the stack.
That's pretty backbreaking for Andre.
All right, it's this turn, or that's it, basically, to combo off here.
Yeah, and filling the graveyard and comboing seems like a fairly tall order.
We don't have a legendary out anymore for Mox 2.
Munches a Shadow Spear. And there's the Oracle hitting the bin. And a Breach.
Oh, okay, so that was in response. So that was with, wow.
Okay, so Unholy Heat still on the stack. Managed to get Delirium again off a pretty sick mill with that Shadow Spear. God.
I'm gonna have to go rewatch that one.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Gotta run the Darcy into the Endurance. Sneaky Reach.
Currently a 6/7. Yeah, you're right. No sorcery yet. No sorceries. Yeah, we'll block.
Well, I got a pass turn from Andre, so apparently there's something.
This feels like an Unholy Heat in hand, potentially. Although... Otawara.
Down, you played that. Yep, that's good. 3, 4.
Apropos of nothing, Travis, how do you pronounce the red-black elder giant from Theros?
Oh God.
How do you pronounce it?
With,
Kroxa. Try really hard not to.
Kroxa?
Kroxa.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear Kroxa. I hear Kroxa. I'm on the fence. I
Okay.
have not been on the fence.
Andre's really good at playing to outs. Like there's been multiple situations where I think a lot of people would have been like, throwing the hat in the bag or whatever the euphemism is, but yeah, they've been able to really like engineer a precise situation and percentages that have happened to allow them to still be in the game. Which is a pretty good thing to do if you're playing a combo deck.
Absolutely. Andre looking hard at this card in hand. says go. Makes a construct. Construct is dead, and that's all she wrote.
All right. Well, that was a great match to end it on. And thanks everyone for hanging out with us in chat. That was the last round. So Vinny won the evening here. We're here every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We're in Portland. We're hanging out at Guardian Games for Modern Monday. Stop by, play some Modern here. We also have Modern on Friday at the same time.